So I booked out like an entire week to work on the album. And halfway through that week, I had a recovery meeting. So the idea was I'll go to the meeting in the morning and then head into the studio to continue working on the album. But I go to the meeting, and in that meeting, I share really for the first time some of my feelings and my thoughts around the journey that I've been on, and this journey of really unraveling some of the behaviors and patterns and habits in my life that had produced, realities that were no good and I wanted to be free from. And in that time, I'm sharing and I'm reflecting on the story of Jacob, which I don't know how familiar the people in that room were with the story, but the story of Jacob, like simply put, is a story of a man who receives a blessing in his life, but the blessing is born out of deception. He convinces his father that he's the eldest son, so his father gives him the blessing reserved for his oldest son, but he takes it, and he takes it in this fraudulent manner. He receives this blessing that wasn't his, and the rest of the days following, he's running from the consequence of that. He's running from his brother who wants him dead because of him stealing that blessing. And anyway, Jacob's story is long and winding and full of tons of different things, but it comes to a point where that moment catches up with him, because it always does. That's the reality, it always does. That which is hidden is always revealed. And his brother catches up with him, and he's spending this night alone, haunted by the reality of his past, when all of a sudden, in the middle of the night by the riverbanks, this man comes along and they wrestle. That's all it says, they just wrestle together. And they wrestle all night, and at dawn, the man says, "Let me go." And Jacob says, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." And I'd never seen it before, but in that meeting, I said, that's how I feel. It's like I've lived my entire life with this sense of, did I fool you? Did I pull the wool over your eyes, God, to receive every good thing that I've been given? Like one day, will I be exposed for who I really am? Did I fool you into blessing me? And it's like, as soon as Jacob gets hold of this man, who he finds out is God, as soon as he gets hold of me, he says, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." Because the proximity of wrestling with someone is as intimate as two humans can be. And he's like, now I'm held and seen and pinned down and revealed for who I really am. Will you bless me? Like, will you bless me in this context of weakness and fragility and sweat and blood? Will you bless me? Not for me pretending to be someone, but for me being who I am. And it turns out that he's wrestling with God, and God gives him a new name, and his blessing comes upon him, and it causes him to limp for the rest of his life, because those who limp have found something worth fighting for. And I said that in the meeting, and I'm just weeping, and I said, it's like there's two ways to a blessing: through deception, and I've lived it, or through a wrestle. I want the second. Like, I want the second now. I don't want to live in a sense of being someone I'm not to receive something that isn't mine. I want to be who I am in my fragility and in my weakness before God, and know that he sees me and loves me for who I am. And the night before, Joel Baker had sent me this beat with this chorus on it where he's singing, "Take hold my heart, take hold my hands, take hold my soul." And I knew I had to write about surrender, where we surrender ourselves to the God who sees us and loves us and knows us as we are, and allows us to give us a new name. We allow him to give us a new name, and that's where the song was born.